Imagine waking up one morning to discover that the world around you is changing forever. The giant glaciers that once covered the land are melting. Rivers begin to flow where solid ice once stood. Green forests spread across the valleys. Colorful flowers bloom, and birds fill the sky with their songs. For the first time in thousands of years, Earth is becoming warmer. But for early humans, this wasn't just a beautiful change, it was a challenge. The animals they had hunted for generations were disappearing. The land they knew was transforming before their eyes. To survive, they would have to change to welcome to the Mesolithic Age, also known as the Middle Stone Age, a fascinating chapter in human history that helped shape the world we live in today. Around 12,000 years ago, the last ice age slowly came to an end. For thousands of years, enormous glaciers covered much of Europe, Asia, and North America. Winters were long and freezing, and finding food was never easy. Early humans survived by following giant animals like mammoths and woolly rhinoceroses across icy plains. Every hunt was dangerous, and every meal had to be earned. But nature had other plans. As the climate became warmer, the glaciers slowly melted. Rivers became larger, lakes appeared, and forests began replacing the open grasslands. The world looked completely different. Many giant ice age animals disappeared forever, while new animals such as deer, wild boar, rabbits, birds, and fish became much more common. Humans suddenly found themselves living in a brand new environment. Everything they had learned during the Paleolithic Age would need to change. This new period became known as the Mesolithic Age, which means Middle Stone Age. It was a bridge between two very different worlds. People were no longer simply wandering from place to place, chasing huge animals. Instead, they started learning new skills. They explored forests, rivers, and lakes. They discovered new sources of food, invented smarter tools, and began understanding the changing seasons. For the first time, humans weren't just reacting to nature. They were learning how to live with it. This was the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with discovery, innovation, and survival. And it would prepare humanity for one of the greatest revolutions in history. The world had changed, and humans had to change with it. During the Paleolithic Age, people mostly hunted giant animals like mammoths. But now, those enormous creatures had disappeared. Instead, forests were filled with faster and smaller animals. Deer sprinted through the trees. Wild boars hid in thick bushes. Rabbits disappeared into their burrows. Birds flew overhead, catching these animals was much harder. Running after them with only a spear wasn't enough anymore. So Mesolithic people invented something that changed hunting forever: the bow and arrow. For the first time, hunters could attack from a safe distance. They no longer needed to stand face to face with dangerous animals. A well-aimed arrow could bring down prey quickly and safely. Hunters also worked together. Some quietly surrounded the animal while others waited in hidden positions. They communicated with hand signals instead of loud voices. Every successful hunt depended on patience, teamwork, and careful planning. The Mesolithic people were becoming smarter than ever before. Hunting wasn't their only source of food. The warm climate created thousands of rivers, lakes, and wetlands filled with fish. Early humans soon realized these waters could feed their families all year round. They carved sharp hooks from bone. They wove fishing nets from strong plant fibers. Some even built simple wooden canoes by shaping large tree trunks. For the first time, people could travel across rivers and lakes to catch fish in deeper waters. Fishing became one of the safest and most reliable ways to survive. Families also collected freshwater shellfish, crabs, turtles, and bird eggs. Nature provided food almost everywhere. But only if people understood where to look. Mesolithic people carefully watched everything round them. They noticed when birds returned after winter. They learned which plants were safe to eat. They discovered where deer came to drink. They understood which seasons brought the most fish. Every day taught them something new. Instead of fighting nature, they learned to live with it. This knowledge helped their families survive generation after generation. Without realizing it, they were laying the foundation for the next great step in human history. Asterisk, as the Mesolithic Age continued, humans became even more creative. Instead of making large stone tools, they created small, sharp stone blades called mic roliths. These tiny blades were attached to wooden handles to make stronger knives, spears, arrows, and cutting tools. They were lighter, sharper, and much easier to carry. People also built simple huts using wooden branches, grass, leaves, and animal skins. Many families stayed near rivers and lakes because food and fresh water were always nearby. Fire remained an important part of everyday life. Families gathered around campfires to cook fish, meat, and wild plants. The fire kept them warm during cold nights and protected them from dangerous animals. They also made clothing from animal skins and used bones to create needles for sewing. Children learned by watching their parents. They practiced making tools, gathering food, and learning survival skills from an early age. Every day, Mesolithic people became more skilled, more organized, and better prepared for the future. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. As people spent more time in one place, something amazing happened. A wild animal slowly became their closest companion. That animal was the dog. Scientists believe that friendly wolves began staying near human camps, eating leftover food over many generations. These wolves became tamer and eventually turned into the first dogs. Dogs helped humans in many ways. They warned families when dangerous animals came near. They helped hunters track deer and other animals through forests. They also protected children and camps. While everyone slept, for the first time, humans and animals worked together as a team. At the same time, people started staying longer near rivers and lakes instead of moving every few days. Small camps slowly grew into larger settlements. Families built stronger shelters and shared food, tools, and knowledge with one another. Without knowing it, they were taking the first steps toward building villages. The Mesolithic Age was preparing humans for their greatest discovery yet. Asterisk. Farming. The Mesolithic Age was coming to an end, but something extraordinary was about to begin. For many years, people had watched plants grow from seeds. They noticed that seeds falling into the ground would grow into new plants. This simple discovery changed everything. Instead of searching for food every day, people began planting their own crops. They also started caring for animals like goats and sheep instead of hunting them. Families stayed in one place for longer periods, building stronger homes and creating the first permanent villages. Life slowly became more organized. People made better tools, stored extra food, and worked together to build a brighter future. This marked the beginning of the Neolithic Age, also known as the New Stone Age.